Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Kingdom Scribes. My name is Chanel E. Martin, and I am your host for today. I'm so excited for what we are getting ready to talk about. We're going to be talking about creating your book funnel. Now, as you come on in and go ahead and say hello, tell me where you are tuning in from. And if you are watching a replay, let's put hashtag replay in the comments. Look, I'm getting ready to go ahead and tag y'all in here, tell y'all to come on in up in here. So today we're going to be talking about creating your book funnel. Now, of course, we write books so that we can make money, but a lot of times we mess up the opportunity to make the money that we are supposed to make because we are unorganized and we have not created our funnel for our books. So if you would like to get in on that, come on in and join me right now. Tag a friend. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Chanel E. Martin. I am the founder of Beyond the Book Media, and our whole goal is to make sure that you go beyond the book. We are a full service agency, and we offer publishing services, and we are also do live podcast events. Y'all, we have an event coming up. Real quick, before we jump in, let me pause there. How many of you had a chance to attend our Kingdom Scribes boot camp? I think it was uh, last last November. Let me know in the comments if you had a chance to attend our Kingdom Scribes boot camp. I'm just curious for those of you. Now we are doing it again. We are doing our Kingdom Scribes Bootcamp again next Saturday from about 9 to 12. And I'm super excited because we are talking about scribing for wealth. Okay. We are talking about scribing for wealth. Now, you can register. I'm going to drop the registration link here in just a moment so I can make sure that you guys come on in, clear your schedule, your Saturday morning. If you are not busy with the kids, I want to ask you to join us next Saturday from 9 a.m. until about 12 p.m. We are going to be talking about scribing for wealth, and I'm excited because I have a special guest. We're going to release her in just a moment, but you can go ahead. I'm going to drop the link down here so that you guys can. Hey, Lori, how are you? I just posted the link so that you guys can join us. You guys will see the link in the comments. Okay, let me jump right on into. I'm going to show this. You can just go to beyondthebookofmedia.com/kingdom scribes and register for our Kingdom Scribes bootcamp. Okay, let me jump into this. So, how many of you have a book funnel? Just let me know in the comments. Okay, how many of you have a book funnel? Okay, how about we do this? Give me a one if you have a book funnel. Give me a two if you don't have one. Give me a three if you don't even know what a book funnel is. Okay. Give me a one if you have a book funnel. Give me a two if you don't have a book funnel. And give me a three if you don't know what a book funnel is. Okay. Because I want to start there. Look, you said in three, you don't even know what a book funnel is. Okay. Anybody else want to drop in the comments where they are as far as their funnel? Now, let me talk about a funnel. A funnel is essentially a pipeline of how you move a client, a customer through a journey, right? So you have an end goal at mind. Okay, so we have a one. All right, Arenze, I think pronounced your name right. So let's say you wrote your book, and the ultimate goal of writing your book was what? Maybe it was to eventually be to create thought leadership and to get speaking engagements, right? So you want to make sure that your funnel, that you're doing activities at the top, middle, and the bottom of your funnel to get to your open goal. Yeah, similar like a process map. Similar, right? But it's shaped like a funnel, right? And if I were to show you, I'll show you uh like I have an example of a funnel, and I do a top, middle, bottom, end, and it's basically looks like this. It's activities that you are doing. It's the activities that you are doing to drive the end goal. Now, again, a lot of times, y'all, we write books and we don't have an end goal. Some of us just wrote a book because we were obedient. Some of us just wrote a book because we felt like writing a book. And then what we do is we try to retrofit, okay? We try to retrofit or create something for the book to do when actually you should have known before you published that book, as you were penning and typing that book up, you should automatically have an end goal, okay? So I want you to think about your book and the end goal. Once you know your end goal, let's talk about some end goals, okay? I want you to drop your end goal in the comment. So that end goal could be to get more speaking engagements. That end goal could be to register people into your coaching program or your course. That end goal could be to um, um, I don't know, launch a program. That end goal could be just to get as many people as possible to read your book. So let me know in the comments if you have an end goal, if you have determined an end goal. Now, if you don't have an end goal, I want you today to decide what your book is going to do if it's already written and what your book will do once it's published. So if you haven't published your book, guess what? Congratulations. If you haven't even started, you're in the right place. If you've already published your book, you need to create something for or a place for your book to end to land. So, one of the things that you want to know is, what is the end goal? What is the end goal? So let's say your end goal, because I feel like we have a lot of you guys that are on here. You guys want to land high paid corporate speaking engagements. Okay. So, one of the ways that you can land corporate speaking engagements is you can create your funnel where the bottom part of your funnel, the goal, is the corporate speaking engagement. So now you align all of your activities from how you launch the book, how you sell the book, how you pitch the book, who receives the book, to align with the goal of the paid speaking engagement. So let me tell you what a lot of us do, y'all. A lot of us, we're kind of delusional in our sales process, even as authors. We write these books and we just pray and hope that it lands in the right place. Anybody guilty of that? You're just like, okay, God, I just wanted to land wherever. God, just do it, go blow on it. And you didn't really provide a place for your book to go. It's similar to like your money, right? If you don't give your money a purpose, it's not going to go anywhere. If you bury your talent, it's not going to produce. Okay, so we have speaking engagements, teach interdisciplinary courses to different age groups, birth a new culture around education and economics in our community. So now that you do that, you need to reverse engineer what it is going to take to do that. Okay, so let's see, what do I have? Do I have one of my books? Okay, we're gonna use my book as an example. So we have my book, y'all, The Supernatural Entrepreneur. Get you one of these if you ain't got it. Now, the book is 5 biblical principles to build your business with God. And take you through 5 different steps. So let's say my goal for this book was, I want to equip faith-based believers with principles to grow their business with God by way of signature speeches and talks. So I want to take this 5-step process, these 5 strategies, and I want to teach them at conferences, at events, and at corporate trainings, corporate faith-based trainings. So the first thing I would need to do, now that my book is already written, I would need to develop signature talks or a signature framework from this one book. Okay. So one of the things that you can do, there are essentially 6 chapters. One's an introduction, but there are 5 concepts, and each concept can be its own talk, could be its own workshop, could be its own session, its own segment. So I would create a summary of each chapter, um, and take each chapter and create a signature talk off of each chapter. The other thing that I could do is create a training or an equipping, maybe like a full day training that walks people through each one of the 5 chapters in the frameworks, and to create uh, worksheets and different things of that nature, right? So I want to make sure that I have this. You don't even have to have this all the way built out yet, right? You need to at least have this written down so that when you start pitching yourself, so now that you have your book and people are buying your book, you can now say, hey, I can also teach on these biblical frameworks and these biblical standards that I share in this book. Okay. I want you guys to drop just some of the things that your book some of the things that your book discusses so that we can kind of break that down for you. So the next thing, now that I know, so I'm reverse engineering, right? Because you got to see the end and then take yourself to the beginning so you can know where you're going. All right, now I'm intentional about how I'm showing up online because now the whole goal is to get corporate speaking engagements. So now in my messaging, how I'm showing up online, when I'm presenting myself, I am now a speaker, I am an author, and I'm letting people know that I am available for speaking engagements, for corporate trainings, and I can give people a summary. So on social media, now I need to show up as an expert in these principles, even if they're new principles and they are new concepts. Okay, that's a good question. How does this work with a planner or journal? I can show you that in a minute because I've done it. I did it with my God Bless the Scribe journal. So now you know to show up online like this, right? Now, the next thing you also will need to understand is um, who would be the right people to have your book. Because sometimes we're like just trying to sell our book to whoever, and that's fine, but you want to be intentional about book sales or about who you give your book away to. So, this might be the opportunity to offer free copies to conference hosts, to people who put on events, and you can start pitching yourself and say, hey, here's a copy. Another thing that I want to recommend doing is to create a video summary of your book, because you send your book, most people, let me say something, they're not going to read it if they don't know who you are. But if you could create a 5-minute visual summary of your book, and you can send that as part of like your pitch to become a speaker, now you already have that you have that intact, and your offer looks a lot more attractive. Okay. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you are showing up in spaces, in conferences and events as a vendor so that you can connect with the conference organizers. Okay, because you want to do some networking and give them a copy of your book, or let them know, say, hey, I am available as a speaker for your next event. So it's possible you could show up at one event as a vendor, and then the next year or the next time they host the event as a speaker. Can I just pause here for a minute? Some of you guys don't get out the house enough. The reason why you're not getting booked for speaking engagements and you wrote this book and you're like, man, I thought God was going to blow on it, is because no one knows you wrote the book. No one knows about you. You need to show up in spaces. I just did a vending event last weekend and I did phenomenal. I made a lot of good money just from showing up, and a lot of people had never heard of me, and I opened my book up to a new market in a new area, and I got new followers just off the strength of me vending. So vending is definitely a viable product strategy, book sales strategy. Okay. So then, so now that you know what you need to do there, then at the top part of your funnel, you want to make sure that your launch is executed well. And even before the launch, for those of you who haven't written your book, you want to make sure that your book leads to the end goal. So, for example, let's say in my book, The Supernatural Entrepreneur, my whole goal was to book speaking engagements from this one book. I need to talk about in my book as I'm writing it, I need to tell people that I'm available for speaking engagements. How many times have you just waited for someone to just find you and book you as a speaker? How many of you are guilty of that, or find you and buy your book? No, you want to put inside of your book, you want to let your readers know, like, hey, if you enjoyed this book, reach out to me and I would love to speak about these topics at your next event. Now you're already dropping seeds. And these things come at the top of the funnel. The top of the funnel, before you even start, is when you are writing the book. When you are writing the book, you have to start thinking through exactly where will this book land. Well, I want this book to help me get speaking engagements. I want this book to help me get coaching clients. I want this book to help me grow my consulting business. So you start putting that content and you start feeding that in advance to your reader. Okay. So the main issue that I see when it comes to book funnels is that you guys aren't clear on what you want your book to do. You wrote the book and now the book is just kind of like sitting there in boxes collecting dust, and you don't have a plan or a strategy. So someone asked me, let me see who this is because it's not, your name is not showing up, unfortunately. I don't know why. I hate it. Someone asked the question. They asked, let's see. This was a good question. Okay. Tashimia, I hope you're still on. You asked, how does this work with a planner or a journal? So I was able to do this with my God Bless the Scribe journal. And you can figure out how to do it as well. But let's say if you're still on, you can let me know, is it like a guided journal? Like, do you take people through a daily thing that they need to do, or monthly or yearly? And if you're not on, I'll wait a second to see if you come on, but I'm going to give you some suggestions. So let's say you guys have a 30-day planner or a 30-day journal or a 30-day devotional or a 30-day anything, right? Or let's say you have a 60-day affirmation journal or planner. Do you know what you can do? Let's say your whole goal is to get people into your self-love coaching program. Okay. Oh, you're still on here. Okay, perfect. Daily. Okay. For how many days? Let me know in the comments for how many days. So let's say, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say your planner journal is a 30-day planner. Okay. Do you know? And let's say after that, you have a coaching company or a coaching business and you want to enroll people into that after they do the pre-work. Because you know that planners and journals, hit us up if you need one. We can help you. Planners and journals are a great way to provide an introductory piece to whatever it is that you offer. So maybe you offer like a premium product or service. You can create a plan or a journal to, number one, help them do the prep work, and number two, give them something where they can build know, like, and trust. So, okay, anywhere from okay, it's about fasting and prayer, anywhere from 3 to 1 days. Thank you. Okay. So, what I would do you have, let me ask you this, do you have an end goal? Do you have a business, a ministry, or something that they can connect with you after they finish? Okay. Let me know in the comments because I do want to help you and give you some suggestions and some strategies. So she said from anywhere from 3 to 21 days. And Lori, I see yours. You said your main topics. Okay, you just started. Okay, well, let's come up with something. So Tashima, let's say you have a ministry and your goal is to grow your ministry or to increase donations. Or to increase people sowing into your ministry. So let's say you are building up this prayer ministry and you just believe that God has called you to speak and preach, and you want to be able to share your message. So one of the things that I would do is I would create a challenge. That's how I did my very first book. My first book was the 31 Days for Spiritual Wealth, and it was actually created from a 31-day prayer challenge, and we've used it for a 31-day prayer challenge. So take people on the 21-day fasting journey, okay? And then once they finish the journey, put them in a private group. You guys do the guided prompts together. You do the journaling together. Then after the 21 days, you've built up your community, you built up know, like, and trust. Now you can say, hey, if you enjoyed this, book me to come speak in your ministry, book me to come speak at your church, book me to come teach your community on how to fast and pray. And you'll make sure that you're dropping those seeds and those nuggets. What about ministry and mental health? That's fine. It doesn't really matter what you do. You just want to make sure that the activities that you are doing, that they are actually in alignment with your goal. So for my book of 31 Prayers for Spiritual Wealth, I didn't really have a goal of trying to get booked to speak, but I do want people to buy the book. And so I know that people want to grow in their prayer life and their spiritual life when it comes to being a business owner. Do I have a copy of that book? Let me see. Do I have that book? I thought I had it. I think it's at home. But I want people to, I don't have it here. I'm so surprised. I want people to grow. I want people to grow in their spirituality, but I also want to sell more books. Well, by offering a 31-day prayer challenge and tell people and by telling people that they have to buy the book in order for them to participate in the challenge, then of course I've automatically sold, I don't know, let's say you get 100 people in the challenge, I've already sold 100 books. That's a simple sale. And then let's say you keep hosting these prayer challenges. And then let's say let me say I, because it was me. Let's say if my whole goal was to spread the mandate of prayer in your business, I could host a 31-day prayer challenge almost every single month and grow the registration. Then, listen, here's something else I can do. I can also create a resource so that people can have their own private small groups and host 31-day prayer challenges for their groups and say, hey, here's a prayer challenge kit. You buy 50 books and I'll come in and I'll do an opening session. And now I've sold, I'm selling a minimum of 50 to 100 books versus these one-off books. But you have to have a goal. We cannot just be doing stuff just for the sake of doing it. And that's what happens with a lot of us. We have goals and aspirations, or we feel like God has called us to become an author, and we don't have a strategy or a plan on what we are going to do once that book is put into the earth. So I want you to think about your book as your baby. A book is a child. Imagine giving birth to a child and you don't got a plan for it. What's going to happen to that child? If you birth a child with no plan, no way to feed it, no way to help groom it, to grow it up, it's the same thing with your book. The child will likely get sick and die, or you get the child taken away from you, go to CPS. But with your book, God gave all of you a book, right? If you're an author, He gave you a book. And He did not give you a book for the book to die. And let me tell you what a dead book is. A dead book is a book just sitting in a bookshelf. A dead book is a book sitting just on Amazon itself. A dead book is a book that's just sitting in a box in the trunk of your car. A dead book is a book that is not moving. I always say this, y'all. It's your responsibility to sell your books. It's your responsibility. What are you going to do with your book? Are you going to let it die, or are you going to finish the work that you started? And you may have written a book, you may have gotten it published. Now it is time to sell the book. And you sell that by creating a funnel, by sitting down and thinking through, because sometimes we don't like to think. By sitting down and thinking through, okay, what do I want this book to do? And if you're not sure, ask God. Say, God, what's this book supposed to be doing in the earth? Just ask Him. He will release it to you. He will tell you. He will tell you what your book is supposed to be doing in earth. Now, many of us do it in reverse. We write the book and then we ask Him. But how about asking Him before you write? How about asking God, what is your book supposed to do before you write? Now you can begin to build and create and craft the story around what God is saying and not what you think. And the likelihood of success is higher. Okay? Well, I think my time is up. Do you guys have any questions for me before we end this week's Kingdom Scribes podcast? We'll be back here next Friday. Okay? Next Friday with a whole nother topic. And let us know what you want to hear about. Also, don't forget Kingdom Scribes Bootcamp is coming up next Saturday. We are focusing on writing for wealth. Okay? Writing for wealth. In addition to talking about writing for wealth, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of other stuff. It's going to be fun. Okay? So I have the link. I'm going to post the link. Let's see if it'll let me pin it. Let's see. Will it let me pin this link? Uh-oh. I was trying to pin it so you guys can see it. But all you have to do is go and register at Beyond the Book of Media /Kingdom Scribes. In addition to that, look, if you have not finished your manuscript, what I need you to do is sign up. Oh, this is your first time? Welcome. Welcome. We do this every Friday or just about every Friday, as long as I'm not tied up. So I think your name is Jazz. Thank you, Jazz. Um, I'm sorry. I apologize. Is this a religious group? Not sure what you mean by that, but this group is run by myself, and I am a Christian, and I built my business around faith based principles. So our group is primarily targeted towards those who are Christians and who believe in God. So, yes, and we believe that we get our inspiration from God. So, hopefully, that answered your question. And don't forget, guys, Brand Author Academy is open. The registration for Brand Author Academy is open. So if you need to finish your book, I'm going to post the link for that too. If you need to finish your book, okay, you need to finish your book, go ahead and register. It's brandauthoracademy.com. Register with us. And we start on March 13th. Okay, I did get one question. Hold on. I'm going to answer this question, then I'm going to go. And do you have any suggestions for how I can and should introduce such heavy topics? I find your book is triggering a lot of your readers' children's memories and some traumatic. So, that's a good question. Honestly, I would have, if you don't have a journal, and I know we published your book, Lori, I would create a companion journal or a course that can guide them through their reading and really try to put together like a reading group or a reading club so that you guys can discuss and work out that trauma, and then maybe even bring in a therapist or a social worker that can help them process their thoughts. That's one way that I would do it. And maybe if you want to charge, like a fee for someone to come into these small group studies where they go through your book and get that additional resource. So that's what I would do. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. I'll be back with you guys on next Friday. Don't forget to register for Kingdom Scribes. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Kingdom Scribes. Yes, have a great day. Bye-bye.